In this video, we are going to be looking at change of subject of a formula together, and like we've seen in previous videos, I would be starting from the simplest of the simplest, because I believe that if you understand the simple parts of the topic, you'll be able to understand it when we move to a more complex part of the topic. Now let's take example. Now we are told to make x the subject of the formula if x minus 2 equals to g. Now this is pretty simple, but what I want you to understand is not just gloss over the simplicity. I want you to understand the technique. As soon as you understand the technique, when we move to a tougher question, you'll be able to solve it. Now we have x minus 2 equals to g, and we are told to make x the subject of the formula. Now if you look at this, x minus 2 is on the left hand side of the equation, g is on the right hand side of the equation. Now what they are asking us to do is to make x on one side of the equation. Every other thing that is not x must move to the other side of the equation. Now in this case, x should remain on the left hand side of the equation, while minus 2 goes to the right hand side of the equation. Now you can move minus 2 to the other side, but another way I want you to look at it is that to remove minus 2 here, I will do the opposite of minus 2. So I'll say add 2 to both sides. Does that make sense? Anything you do to the left hand side, you have to do to the right hand side. So I'll say add 2 to both sides. Now look at what will happen. So I'll be having x minus 2 plus 2 equals to g plus 2. Remember, add is plus. Now minus 2 plus 2 is 0, so I'm left with x equals to g plus 2. Does that make sense? So I've successfully placed x on one side of the equation, and that means I've been able to answer the question. So the answer to this question is x equals to g plus 2. Do you understand? So we have made y the subject of the formula if y plus 8k equals to 7. Now remember, y plus 8k is on the left hand side of the equation, and then 7 is on the right hand side. And since we are told to make y the subject of the formula, you want y to be alone on one side of the equation. Now remember, if you like, you can take 8k to the other side, but I want us to solve it the same way we solved the first question. So what I will do is, since 8k is being added to y, to remove 8k from the left hand side, I will say subtract. I'm doing the opposite. So because I have y plus 8k, I will do the opposite of addition. So subtract. What do I want to take away from the left hand side? 8k from both sides. Do you understand this? So I'll be having y plus 8k minus 8k equals to 7 minus 8k. Plus 8k minus 8k is 0, so I'm left with y equals to 7 minus 8k, and this is the answer. This is super simple. So remember, if you have something being added to what you want to make the subject of the formula, you do the opposite. So you subtract that thing from both sides. Does that make sense? If it's being subtracted from the what you want to make the subject of the formula, you do the opposite. You add to both sides. Let's take another example.